This video covers managing a larger graph when you run out of space. As you add nodes to a visual graph, before long you'll reach a point where the automatic layout fails to reach a good state where it can stop. When you see nodes thrashing around endlessly, you have a few choices for how to proceed. But first you probably want to interrupt the layout, leaving it messy for the moment. The official way to do this is with the abort the layout or command. It has two keyboard shortcuts, which are the usual escape key and also the Q key, which is a little easier to reach. In addition, many other commands will first interrupt the layout if one is happening, so you could, for example, press the space bar to invoke the deselect the selected node command, which interrupts the layout and also leaves no node selected. Now how to proceed. First of all, if you accidentally added nodes that you're not really interested in, then you can use the go back command on the layout menu to return to the previous state, and then proceed differently. But let's assume that you do want the new nodes, and use go forward to return to where we were. One option is to simply use the messy layout as is. But typically you'll want to allow a nicer layout by increasing the size of the scrolling canvas into which the nodes and links are arranged. The layout menu has two commands for making the canvas larger or smaller. The keyboard shortcuts are shown as the period and comma, but it's easier to remember these as the greater than and less than keys, assuming that those are the shifted characters on your keyboard. As I press the greater than key a couple of times, the scroll bars on the window indicate that there is now more spare room to work with. You can now update the layout in the larger canvas by using one of the layout commands at the top of the layout menu. Update layout incrementally will proceed from the current arrangement and may be quicker. This is the layout that's done automatically whenever you add more nodes to the display. If you want a nicer layout, you can use redo layout from scratch instead, though it replaces the current arrangement entirely and may take longer. A layout tends to fill the available space, so it's best to make the canvas as large as needed for a successful layout, but not a lot larger in order to avoid excessive scrolling. That requires some trial and error. Another option for making things fit is to remove particular nodes that you don't care about. This can be done in several ways with commands on the Remove menu. As a special case, if you're mainly interested in the cycles that exist between displayed nodes, then you can use the Remove Leaf Nodes command. Removing leaf nodes turns some of the remaining nodes into leaves, and so pressing the keyboard shortcut Shift-O a few times will typically remove all nodes that aren't part of any cycle. Here's a final demonstration to show the cycles between a group of actors in movies. What I'm doing repeatedly is selecting a node and pressing the F key to add nodes that are linked to it by the current predicates, and then quickly pressing the spacebar each time to interrupt the automatic layout. This creates quite a mess, but next I'll type Shift-O a few times to remove nodes that aren't part of any cycles. Then finally I'll press the R key to redo the layout from scratch, and that shows all of the cycles between all of the actors and movies that I added to the display.